I'm Matt Gross, the Frugal Traveler for the New York Times. This summer, I'm embarking on the grand tour of Europe. Over 12 weeks, I'll seek out ancient history and contemporary culture. I'll find cool hotels and eat memorable meals. And I'll stretch the US dollar to the breaking point. This is Rome. The Pantheon, the Colosseum, the Trevi Fountain. And the way to see the city and its 10,000 sights is on foot. You want to get into the great sights, to squeeze down the narrow alleyways, to hang out in the piazzas, you've got to put on your shoes. They don't even have to be comfortable shoes. But Romans really love their dogs, so it's a good idea to put something on your feet. Even up here, at the American Academy of Rome, on top of this big, big hill, you find committed pedestrians.
Instead of getting a card to take the public transportation, you should walk. And that's the best way to experience the city.
Walk everywhere.
Walk everywhere, get a good map, and walk everywhere. This is the best map. It folds out very nicely and has everything you could want.
Rosie was right. I've used this map more than I've used any other ever. And it was great, partly because it had my hotel on it, all the way down here at the bottom. Well, it wasn't really a hotel. I was staying with nuns, the Ursuline sisters, who opened up their convent/school to paying guests back in 1996.
We had to shut down 2 parts of the school, the middle school and high school, because there weren't any more teachers, and we couldn't survive that way. So we restructured it into guest rooms.
The room itself was big and clean and austere, with free reading materials and a live show every morning. The room was just 40 euros a night, but there were strict rules to follow.
We decided that as nuns, we couldn't be more flexible. Whoever wants to come here has to accept that, or you can go somewhere else where there's more freedom.
At times, this was a problem. But usually I could count on waking up in the morning and catching the tram right outside the convent. Okay, so I didn't walk everywhere. Sorry, Rosie. I've been on my feet for a month now. The trams, buses, and subway were all pretty efficient, but you wouldn't really call them fun, especially when the metro, on occasion, requires you to run. No, for fun getting around Rome, there's only one choice. The Moped, or motorino, as it's known here. Of course, I didn't have my own moped. This was driven by my new friend Yotam, who led me on a high-speed tour of the city, the Piazza Repubblica, and the small forum where Julius Caesar was actually killed. Unfortunately, it was occasionally necessary to descend from the bike and put our feet to the earth. Yotam had taken us to the Jewish ghetto, where Roman Jews were required to live from about 1555 to 1870.
I've been here researching the music of the Jewish community of Rome, which has a different musical tradition than that I grew up with, an Ashkenazi tradition, and it's completely different from the Sephardic tradition too. It's really its own thing.
I wasn't sure exactly what he meant, so Yotam showed me.
Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et haaretz.
Now that I'd had a taste of two-wheeled freedom, I didn't mind so much being on my feet. And so I went for a challenge.
Ciao. We're in Porta Bortese. It's furniture, jewelry, clothing, and you can find really, really interesting stuff, you know.
I was looking for art. After all, I'm on the grand tour. This is what you do. At this little stand, I found what I wanted. An anonymous drawing done decades ago I desperately wanted it, but I couldn't figure out how to take it with me on my journey.
This is a Roman artist from the 60s, and this is a sketch for painting.
So I left it there. It didn't matter to me, though. In 1 week in Rome, I'd taken every form of transportation there was. Well, almost every form of transportation. That one will have to wait. Per il New York Times, sono Matteo Gross, il viaggiatore frugale.